Imagine wanting something so badly, like the simple ability to read a book or walk into a classroom, but adults explicitly forbid it. That is the reality for Jahnavi, a young girl sitting by a quiet river. While other children gather in the schoolhouse, she listens from afar, desperate to understand why nature works the way it does and how the world beyond her village functions. Her parents expect her to stay home and manage household chores. Her brothers, meanwhile, are allowed to attend school without a second thought, a situation upheld by a deep-rooted social belief that formal learning is strictly for boys. Jahnavi's struggle highlights a stark reality. The barrier standing between her and the classroom has nothing to do with her intellectual capability or drive. It is a strict denial of opportunity based entirely on her gender. At her lowest point, Jahnavi sits helplessly on the riverbank, forced to watch her brothers walk away to their lessons. She feels entirely excluded. But in the story, the river acts as a wise mentor. It reminds her that girls are equally capable of great things and encourages her not to surrender. It tells her that courage starts with a single step. Inspired by this advice, Jahnavi takes action. Instead of waiting for the rules to change, she walks straight into the school and quietly takes a seat at the back of the classroom. She risks immediate punishment just to pursue her education. The teacher notices her eagerness and, rather than sending her away, speaks directly to her parents about the value of her learning. During this exchange, we learn that Jahnavi's mother also harbored a lifelong desire to attend school, an opportunity she never received. By the end of the narrative, Jahnavi's goal evolves. She resolves to become a teacher herself, ensuring the next generation of girls in her village can break the cycle of exclusion. Now that we understand her journey, we can break down how the author constructs this narrative for literary analysis, starting directly with Jahnavi's character profile. This character map shows Jahnavi at the center, branching out into her three defining traits. First, an innate curiosity. Second, unyielding courage. And third, a highly proactive nature. We can connect those personal traits to the larger concepts of the text. Authors use characters as vehicles to deliver their core messages, mapping individual actions to broad social ideas. For your CBSE exams, you need to know these three specific themes extending from Jahnavi's actions: the importance of education, gender equality, and the power of mentorship. Analyzing this structure proves Jahnavi is never portrayed as a helpless victim of circumstance. She acts as an active catalyst, actively challenging and dismantling the traditions that hold her back. Beyond character traits, the author relies heavily on literary devices, specifically symbolism, to convey the psychological depth of the story. This visual metaphor breaks down how the text uses the personification of the river. The flowing water represents Jahnavi's inner wisdom, guidance, and latent courage. Notice the sharp contrast here. On one side, you have the natural, continuous flow of the river. On the other, the rigid, stagnant nature of the village's traditions, resisting that momentum. By using this specific natural imagery, the text makes a clear argument. Social change, much like a flowing river, becomes an unstoppable physical force once it is finally set into motion. Jahnavi's fictional struggles reflect very real historical and contemporary issues. Across the globe today, equal access to education remains a critical challenge, with millions still fighting similar systemic barriers. This leaves us with interesting questions to consider. Was the river's voice a literal magic element, or simply Jahnavi's own intuition surfacing? And looking forward, how can modern society better support ambitious children who face similar obstacles? Let's organize this into study notes. We'll use a 3-column layout: character traits, themes, and key symbols. For Jahnavi, cite proactive defiance. For themes, focus on generational barriers. For high-scoring answers, mention her sneaking in and the teacher's intervention. Mastering these exam points allows you to see the mechanics of the story clearly. You can trace how Jahnavi's individual courage shifts the perspective of her immediate family and her teacher. The core lesson of Jahnavi's journey is clear. Realizing a denied dream requires the courage to stop waiting for your circumstances to improve and to take that first step yourself. But individual courage often needs strong backing. Supportive mentorship, like the teacher stepping in to educate her parents, is what validates that initial bravery and cements it into lasting change for her family's future. Ultimately, Her story reminds us that education gives people the tools to change their own futures, challenge limitations, and create new paths for those following.